great. I'm used to being the
the
interviewer.
host, right? I think it's our broadcast journalism backgrounds are clashing at this moment.
It's just like, anyway.
How have, whatever you learned during the course of your degree helped you?
I think the biggest thing that I did learn from my broadcast journalism background was the basics of just being able to speak and be able to articulate my thoughts in a way that is comprehensive and communicate effectively and efficiently.
So now I have to ask, what
Yes.
does your creative process look like from ideation to now production itself?
I think the best of my ideas are born in the toilet or in church. Something about when you're very vulnerable and in the house of the Lord.
You've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
You've diversified as well.
Yes.
What has been the biggest challenge?
How much time do we have? I think I would say, of course, there's the financial constraint, but I think financial constraints are typical in every single role. But I feel like for being a creative, one of your biggest challenges is always yourself.
Hello, I'm Mehek and welcome to One on One with Stephanie.
Hi.
Hi, Stephanie.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm used to being the
the
interviewer.
host, right? I think it's our broadcast journalism backgrounds are clashing at this moment.
It's just like, anyway.
Exactly. So I think let's just get into it,
Yeah.
right? You've been in content creation for about 5 years now.
Yes.
From makeup videos, Get Ready With Me, your vlogs, and now SNS.
Yeah.
So could you give us a little bit about your journey?
Yeah. Okay, so let me start by introducing myself. My name is Stephanie Nganga. I am a digital content creator, the host of the SNS, and if you're watching this, go and watch it. An event host, a proud cat mom, and I'm, just an amazing human being. So the SNS is truly a labor of love. I started it in 2020. The idea was born in late 2022. Around this time, I had just completed my undergrad, and one of the prerequisites for graduation was you'd either do a project or an internship. And I did an internship at a local media house, and I hated it. I said, I'm in a party. You will never see me here again. So between that time, I needed to figure out how to merge my love for content and also use this degree that I had painstakingly. And especially as a broadcast journalist graduate, you'd understand. So that is how the SNS was born in 2023.
So as a broadcast journalism graduate, right? How have, whatever you learned during the course of your degree helped you in your journey of content creation, especially now with SNS and the variety of shows you do?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I did learn from my broadcast journalism background was the basics of just being able to speak and be able to articulate my thoughts in a way that is comprehensive and communicate effectively and efficiently, because we did tons of projects, which I hated. But anyway, we thank the heavens that I did them, because I think that background or that experience is what sharpened that craft. And even as we speak, I can't say I've fully sharpened it. I think it's something that's a process you continue to learn from every day. I also had a background, even not just for the SNS, but also with my regular content, where I learned the basics of editing. So Adobe Premiere Pro, etc. So having that background really helped merge those two worlds.
So now I have to ask, what
Yes.
does your creative process look like from ideation to now production itself and then the final episode coming out?
Do you know what is so funny, Mehek? And I always tell my sisters this, and even some of my friends are aware. I think the best of my ideas are born in the toilet or in church. Something about when you're very vulnerable and in the house of the Lord, the ideas come and they're very fresh. So, for example, I think the basis of the ideas, so the model of SNS is very, I don't want to say monotonous, but it's like very routine. So we have 6 segments. We have Asking for a Friend, A Love Letter, Debate Club, The Hot Seat, The Spotlight, and Quiz Whiz. Yeah. So all of those ideas were born around the same time, except Quiz Whiz and The Spotlight. Thank you. Sorry. Except Quiz Whiz and The Spotlight. Each of those have like a backstory. So, for example, Asking for a Friend was inspired by work that I already used to do. So when I first started, I used to do makeup content. And then to make it more entertaining, I would be doing my makeup whilst responding to people's dilemmas. So now we used that model for the SNS, where it's basically me responding to people's dilemmas, or we appeal to our audience to send us their dilemmas, to which we respond now with a group of people, so a group of other creatives. And we just provide our advice, or like with a razzle-dazzle of banter, because this life a bit can't be too serious. And then A Love Letter was inspired by just my love for love, I will recognize that there's a similar model to it in SA, a channel called The Defining, but for theirs, it was just, I think, friends and lovers or couples, but we wanted to expand it so that we can be able to feature all romantic relationships. I mean, all relationships, whether romantic, platonic, and or familial, and to showcase those existing realities that I think many people may not potentially relate to, but aspire to. Debate club, I was in debate club in primary school. I just wanted to recreate that. Hot seat was inspired by the Late Late Show with James Corden. He has a segment called Feel or Spill Your Guts, but in his segment, it's like, I don't know, a bull's penis, a bad saliva. Maybe, I don't know, I'll get those things here. So we decided to tweak it to now like nasty concoctions. So things like hot sauce, vinegar, egg yolk mixed with yogurt. We just go all crazy on those concoctions. And then for Quiz Wiz was also inspired by... there used to be a show in KTN Kitambo. It was called Who's Smarter Now? And then there's also Family Feud by Steve Harvey. So a lot of my content is drawn from things that I already see. But then also I think when it comes to brand work that I've done for campaigns, the ideas truly just sometimes come to me in the toilet or in church, just in case you missed that. Yeah.
I'm really glad that you mentioned like brand work and
Yes.
stuff. How do you balance, your creative vision with what the brands want from you? Because I understand that's something that all creators need to look at.
Yeah. I think for me, I've always said I look at the brand, and I also like to consider myself a storyteller. So if there's a way I cannot be able to connect that brand, my brand, and a story, then I'm so sorry, love. It's not going to work. So I think for me, it also is very dependent on how much creative freedom we're being given. More often than not now, there is like an intermediary where agencies come in between brand and creator, and then you tell the agency the direction. So you send a rationale. So I'll say, for example, for this video that I'm doing with Smirnoff, it's going to be ABC and D, and you try and outline or paint the picture as much as you can, to which they can either approve or reject. So if it's approved, then you can move forward to go into production and then the final copy.
So like the heist video you guys made recently.
I mean,
Oh, amazing. By the way. Ooh.
creativity mbaya.
Did that also come in church or in the toilet?
Actually, in the toilet, now that we are specifying, I had just finished watching, I'm a big lover of film, and one of my favorite directors is Guy Ritchie. So this year, I think around May, June, he produced a movie. It's called The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. And for a lover of history, you should definitely watch it. So the premise of the movie is basically... what's his name? Winston Churchill, the prime minister at the time, was trying to, or rather the Brits were trying to get more control than the Germans, the Nazis. So he came together with a crew of madmen, to which their mission was one, to just... they're supposed to steal the Duchessa. So the Duchessa was a big boat that the Nazis had, and that is what had like a lot of their military stuff and food and everything. So they had, with that boat, they had gotten major control of like the ocean trade. So they were supposed to steal it, but then the Nazis caught wind because of spies and everything. So it was reinforced. No, they were supposed to sink it, so it was reinforced. Then because it couldn't be sunk, they decided to steal it with its reinforcements. So basically the heist, that video we did for Smirnoff, was inspired by how typical heist movies operate. There's always a mission, and there's always a crew, and then there's the conflict. So yeah, but
That
thank
was really
you.
fun to watch. To be honest.
Really?
I had so much fun. I think I've watched like 5 times in a
you.
day.
We
So
appreciate
I have to
it.
ask.
Yes.
You've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
You've diversified as well.
Yes.
What has been the biggest challenge?
What? How much time do we have? I think I would say, of course, there's the financial constraint, but I think financial constraints are typical in every single role. But I feel like for being a creative, one of your biggest challenges is always yourself. Like I feel like, and I always say this, my heart is the kindest, my brain is the meanest bee you could ever meet in your lifetime. So I think the biggest challenge for me has been trying to get out of my own way, getting out of my head. Stop questioning, whether you're ready for the opportunity, whether you should be the one to do it, and you just do it. Nike were right when they said just do it. It's very cliche, but it's really just a matter of you doing it. So I think my biggest critique, I feel like if I could get out of my head, I'd be farther. But we thank the heavens for where I've reached so far.
So aside from self-critic,
Yes.
how do you deal with criticism now that comes with putting your content out?
I think one thing I've also come to realize is people are just keyboard warriors. And more often than not, the things people tell you online, there's a big disparity between when they meet you in person. So you can be telling me online how you think I'm ABCD, but when you meet me in person, it's just, oh my God. And I'm like, you are liars. You cannot trick me. So I think just understanding that person is literally a minority out of the majority, because it's not every day I wake up and it's just, you are such a A, B, C, and D. So yeah, you just need to understand the disparity. And then also I feel like sometimes social media can be very, as much as I earn from it, there's a very thin line between it being a facade and real life. Yes. So you just need to understand. Yeah.
And how do you balance that? How do you, the Stephanie you show everyone and then the Stephanie that you are, how do you protect yourself, I guess, in a sense?
Yeah, I think it's also, I know that as much as, so this is what I usually explain. There's the difference between Steph and Stephanie Nganga, the brand. Stephanie Nganga, the brand, cannot operate without Steph. So there's like the individual and then there's the brand. So there are my many ways of pouring into myself. For example, there are days I will sincerely just log off. So I really have not a single clue what is happening, whether it is burning, whether it is not. So sorry, love, you imeenda. So I think it's just managing the individual that is part of the brand. And then, yeah, so I try as much as I can to watch films. I love going to the movies. It's my favorite aisle, to work down to second favorite until, yeah, just doing things that make me happy. Sleeping. Oh my God. Do you know how I was literally telling you this earlier? We would solve so much with just sleeping.
Sleeping and crying out.
And crying.
Yes.
And crying. Yeah, I think I used to be so cognizant of the fact that I can be, very emotional. But also, my therapist actually says emotionally aware people who cry, they're the ones changing this world, one tear at a time. So, yeah, I pour into the individual before the creator.
Oh, that's profound.
Thank you. Really?
Yes. We need that on a shirt.
Right.
And I think I wanted to ask you as well. SNS, you said SNS has 6 different segments and you operate on a certain schedule.
Yes.
Have you ever had to make a change to that because of maybe trends, maybe you've noticed something else needs to be done, or maybe just feedback?
Yes. So I think I can start with our asking for a friend. Typically, it used to be me and a group of people providing advice, but with a razzle-dazzle of banter. The problem is sometimes the banter is way more than the advice. There's only so much that I can control. So we decided to have some episodes where we have a professional, like we've had therapists come on board and they talk about anything in regards to people's dilemmas, whether it's work, school, life, love, just everything under the sun. We've also had niche therapists, like we had a therapist who specializes he's a sex and relationship therapist. We've also had one, the episode is yet to air, but it was about daddy issues. So she's more of like a family and counseling therapist. So we've tried to niche them down to cater to people's or our audience's needs, so that actually we're not just having a kiki and laughing about an actual person's challenge. And then with the love letter, we've been attempting to open the segment more, because ideally it was I wouldn't say it was specifically for celebrities, because I think that's what most people assume. The challenge was how to open it up to our audience. But we've shot some couple of episodes and that's also been going great. That's from audience feedback as well. So we try our best to accommodate our vision, but also our audience's feedback.
Oh, that's really interesting. Can I come on Love Letter if I'm single?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I don't know if we should do like, what is it called? Like the online strangers dating shenanigans.
Oh, like
that would be interesting. Yeah. Also with the quiz is a segment specifically for my audience. I wanted to figure out a segment where I get to interact with the people who watch the content, and it's so much fun because you get to put at least a face to the name. Yeah.
And I guess just to wrap it up, right? What would you tell people who want to get into this space, want to get in content creation, and especially as a broadcast student who's wanting to get into it as well, maybe from that lens as well? What would you tell us?
start. I feel like I can sit here and tell you, you need to invest, you need to actually start. And starting can either look like you pick up your phone, you pick up your camera, whatever it is, start and put something out. And then from there, you continue to grow. Because I think it's so much easier for us to tell people that when you're there, you need to do A, B, C, and D, but they're not even there yet. So just start, babe. Stop holding the content. Post it. It might not be the very best, and it will never be the very best when you start. Honestly, if I look back at some of the videos I did, electric chair in 2019, but if it were not for that video, then we would not be here.
Exactly.
So I think the first thing is, if you want it as bad as you want to get into it, you need to actually get. The first thing to do is start. And then I think when you start, I think I would just pray that like the passion is what continues to fuel you, because there are so many things that will be working against you in this space. And I don't mean that like to dishearten anybody, but I think that's just the reality for most ventures, especially when you're starting out. So I hope you actually do it for the love of creating and not for other reasons. Yes, there's money, but I feel like the money and all of these things come way later. But what will keep you is genuinely your passion, because you can still be paid and still be like, I really don't feel like creating this video. So yeah, I just hope you start, and when you start, you continue to thrive in that passion.
Oh, thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you all. This is One-on-One again with Stephanie, and I'm Mehek, your host.
And you've done such an amazing job.
Thank you.
Receive your flowers, babe. Receive your flowers.
Thank you.
Receive your flowers.